So now I'm in turn 6 of Belisarius, of the Decision Games minigame, and this is the first month of 538 AD. And as the Roman player, I end up selecting the Magister Militum Africae card, and this is one of those cards that you play but then remove it. It's a very powerful card. It allows the Romans to recruit 3 units, including Solomon, who is a leader. And the event on this card may point to Solomon's governorship in Africa. In any case, Solomon sails from Syracuse with an army, and he lands unopposed in the port of Caesarea. Meanwhile, I decide to have Belisarius bring his army to Decenum, and he meets the king of the Vandals there, Gelimer, and his army, and now it is time for retribution. King Gelimer seizes the battlefield advantage, and he rolls 3 6s, and just like that, in the snap of the fingers, 3 Roman units are gone. Then Belisarius attacks, and this ends up being the end of Gelimer, which is unfortunate for the Vandal player, because one of the requirements of the Vandal victory is that Gelimer survives. So now the best the Vandals can really do is prevent the Romans from winning and achieving a draw. And I guess Gelimer maybe shouldn't have been so arrogant, but on the positive side, he did go down in a glorious battle at Decenum. Then we go to the Vandal's turn, and I drew the land campaign event. And that's a card that only allows land movement. So I decided to send a cavalry unit to Tricamarum, and there's not really much else that I do here. I get to come up with a new hero after receiving the news of Gelimer's demise. But that brings turn 6 to a close. Turn 7 is 534 AD still, and more bad news. The Romans end up drawing the Unrest in the Roman Ranks event. That's a bad card. I have to roll for that, and fortunately, I rolled okay, the dice okay, and none of the units were lost. And one of the things that helped me is I do have 2 units in play. I have Belisarius and Solomon. So that's going to prevent any of the units stacked with them from rebelling. But all the rest of the forces had to pass die rolls. But the dissenting troops must have got over it because all of the units passed. The result really was that the Romans were paralyzed this turn, and they remained static to try to recover their cohesion, but that's really all that happened. Then the Vandal player's turn, he selects the Religious Dissension event, and although there were no losses, the Vandals really don't have enough flexibility with this card to do any beneficial moves, so the turn 7 quickly comes to an end. And now we'll go to turn 8. Belisarius uses his Supreme Leader ability to select a card from the discard pile. This is an important strength. And he selected again the Procopius card, which is going to allow 2 recruits and also an examination of the enemy troop disposition so I can figure out what's going on. The Romans end up building a camp and also an elite cavalry unit, which sails to join the Roman attack at Carthage. Meanwhile, I have Belisarius march his army to the enemy stronghold at Carthage. And I'm able to use the Roman camp unit to allow a siege benefit for this battle. So panic results can now occur against the Vandal troops. So Belisarius ends up winning the advantage and manages to get an elimination of 1 of the Vandal units in the opening rounds. Then the Vandal cavalry unit is able to roll and causes one of the Roman units to panic, but then the Roman cavalry comes back and conquers the fortress. Also, I have Solomon march to Pomaria, and then he sends some of his cavalry ahead into Mauritania. And then we go to the Vandal part of the turn, and the Vandals select the Sea Raiders event randomly. So they use a fleet at Hippo Regius to move to Triana, and there is a Roman garrison there to defend, but after 2 rounds of fighting, the Roman garrison surrenders to Giamund and his forces. And that ends up bringing turn 8 to a conclusion. So stay tuned if you'd like to see what happens on turn 9, the last turn of the game. Have a great day.